Well, we're talking about lady trainers trying to win the last race. I've got Christine Dunnett now, who trains the top weight, Flower of Thunder. What's the news on Flower of Thunder?
Well, if she runs her best race, I think she should win it. I just think these fillies are just starting to go into coat. I was just looking at her tonight when I loaded her up, and I thought she's just starting to go into coat. So maybe she's, I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses before we start, but I think she's more than capable of winning this. Yeah. And she's a lovely filly, and I think she'll give her all because she's so genuine. Haven't tried around here at this trip. I think it will suit her. I think the track will suit her. So I'm hopeful.
You've summed it up very well, Christine Dunnett. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Last race is a 10 furlong handicap, and the first horse that we pick up is Meisterzinger. First start for Mark Usher since leaving St Mark Prescott. Brought from 6 altogether. Cheap pieces on for the first time and dropped to 59 for the first start for the new stable. It's been picked up for £6,000, but probably a few questions to answer despite the limited mileage on the CV. Number 5 is Athers, who's blinkered for the first time. Second start for Jane Chapelheim since leaving Roger Varian, and stepping back up in trip. Made the yard debut over 7 furlongs last time. This is probably more suitable. Obviously, they would have had high enough hopes at the start for a horse like Athers with the pedigree, given the fact that he's a full brother to the 2013 Summer Mile winner, Al Jamahir. Two-handers for number 10, who is Heat and Dust, who's an Oasis Dream filly, looking to make it 7th time lucky. She's not been seen since January. When last seen at Wolverhampton in mid-January, she had a dodgy start upon leaving the stalls, which rather accounted for her, and she met traffic problems the time before. So maybe a couple of excuses, but she's got the blinkers on now. And her first-time visor 2 starts ago seemed to spice her up appreciably. She's bred to be considerably better than this, given the fact that she's a half-sister to the Hong Kong Cup winner, Time Warp. Multiple Group 1 winner in the Far East. Number 7 is Mystic Dragon. She's in fine form, dual winner in August, both at Yarmouth. In fact, this is the first run away from Yarmouth in a long time. 5 successive runs at the coastal track. Looking to make it 10th time lucky on the all-weather. So that was 7, Mystic Dragon. Number 6 is Artisan Bleu. Dual Wolverhampton winner earlier this year, and not seen now since April, since trying to land a hat-trick where the effort rather petered out at Nottingham. Handles Polytrack for a dual to Peter winner, and could just be still on the upgrade, the daughter of Master Craftsman. Dan was a Polytrack winner, actually. So Arsène Bleu is interesting off a break. It's horse number 6. In behind that one is number 4. 4 is Spanish Hustle. Blinkers on for the first time. Looking to make it 10th time lucky. Number 12, Miracle, who comes in front of us now. Drawn up the inner in 2, an 8 race maiden altogether, and on second start for James Ferguson since leaving Dean Ivory. Does need a step forward, and back on the all-weather needs to show better than what we saw on Polytrack a little earlier in the year. Number 3 is Agent of Fortune. Needs limited introduction, really, on the fact that it's an all-weather track here, and Agent of Fortune, that star all-weather horse of the winter 2019-2020, won 7 times, hasn't won since that golden spell. Now with John Butler, went very close to winning over 10 furlongs last time, was run down by the lesser exposed Maharashtra. She hasn't won over 10 furlongs before, but it's not that she doesn't stay it. Maybe was just there a little bit too much, a little bit too vulnerable in the closing stages last time, and run down by 1. 11 is Henley Park, 10 race maiden, dropping back a couple of furlongs and trip from Lingfield last time. Did run well at a huge price actually at Lingfield a couple of starts ago, and only a handful of starts since joining Gary Moore from William Knight. Any others we'll pick up out on track for the last. It's Mystic Dragon. She's in fine form. Dual winner in August, both at Yarmouth. In fact, this is the first run away from Yarmouth in a long time. 5 successive runs at the coastal track. Looking to make it 10th time lucky on the all-weather. So that was 7, Mystic Dragon. Number 6 is Artisan Bleu. Dual Wolverhampton winner earlier this year, and not seen now since April, since trying to land a hat-trick where the effort rather petered out in Nottingham. Handles Polytrack for a dual to Peter winner, and could just be still on the upgrade, the daughter of Master Craftsman. Dan was a Polytrack winner, actually. So Artisan Bleu is interesting off a break. It's horse number 6. In behind that one is number 4. 4 is Spanish Hustle. Blinkers on for the first time. Looking to make it 10th time lucky. Number 12, Miracle, who comes in front of us now. Trawled up the inner in 2 and 8 race maiden altogether, and on second start for James Ferguson since leaving Dean Ivory. Does need a step forward, and back on the all-weather needs to show better than what we saw on Polytrack a little earlier in the year. Number 3 is Agent of Fortune. Needs limited introduction really on the fact that it's an all-weather track here, and Agent of Fortune, that star all-weather horse of the winter 2019-2020, won 7 times, hasn't won since that golden spell. Now with John Butler, went very close to winning over 10 furlongs last time, was run down by the lesser exposed Maharashtra. She hasn't won over 10 furlongs before, but it's not that she doesn't stay it. Maybe was just there a little bit too much, a little bit too vulnerable in the closing stages last time, and run down by 1. 11 is Henley Park, 10 race maiden, dropping back a couple of furlongs and trip from Lingfield last time. Did run well at a huge price actually at Lingfield a couple of starts ago, and only a handful of starts since joining Gary Moore from William Knight. Any others we'll pick up out on track for the last.
So Headley George, the 3-1 favourite for this finale at Chelmsford. Another horse who is pretty consistent, has got his head in front and represents the Simon Dow team. 4-1 Flower of Thunder, Agent of Fortune 4-1. Agent of Fortune now 18-5. Artisan Blur 5-1. Heat and Dust 7-2. Agent of Fortune. Artisan Blur 5-1. Heat and Dust 10s 10-1. Mystic Dragon 20s. Bar those. Steve, I thought this was a good opportunity for Headley George. Obviously a pretty consistent horse. A horse that perhaps has been a bit unlucky on occasions.
I agree, and he has been a model of consistency. The negative, we haven't seen him for more than 4 months. There must have been a reason for that. I don't know. If he's fit, he's almost sure to go very close, I think, because I think his form is good enough to go extremely close, and he tends to produce it most times he runs, and he has won race, so he's not. There isn't a doubt about him in that. So if he's fit and well, he'd have a great chance. We
do know that Agent of Fortune is fit and well.
We do.
Comes here off the back of that second at Chelmsford over this distance at Maharashtra.
It was a selling handicap, but to be fair, this is selling grave really. So yeah, he's fit. He's also won 10 times, 8 of which have been on the all-weather. So again, this is the second in the cellar. He's got reasonable current form, and he's a horse who knows how to win. So yeah, he's not as good as he was probably, but he's still capable of winning a poor race.
They're familiar horses in this race. There's Voy in the green and yellow colours on the outside. Horses that they've been around the block a bit.
Yeah.
They're generally horses that you can count on to a degree at this sort of level, and you'll see that Agent of Fortune doesn't go down without a fight. In the end, Maharashtra, who was the favourite who Agent of Fortune was the favourite on that occasion, isn't beaten that far in the end, and it's a very commendable effort.
Yeah, and you can see he's trying as well. Yeah. He's got his head in a nice shape. He's just been mugged late on, but he finished clear of the rest. He's absolutely run his race, and yeah, completely. I've got nothing negative to say about him.
OK, what about Flower of Thunder, who was second on turf at Leicester last time out to Pearly Prince?
Well, the handicapper says he'll win because he's £1 well in. And he's in form after winning at Yarmouth, then just running just as well in the race you're talking about at Leicester. Absolutely acts on Polytrack, which is obviously his blood, not just Leicester. And again, in a field devoid of many horses you can say lots of complimentary things about, he comes here in very good form.
We are at post time. Is there anything in here that we haven't mentioned that you
Well, I really hope Tolstoy's tail runs. I actually mean it, for his owners. I really hope
official
the horse
rating?
10. And hard to see why it's 10, really, because he's beaten 2 horses in his life and never been within 30 lengths of a winner. But genuinely, I'd like to think the horse shows some ability. there's no obvious sign of it, but I'd like it to happen.
Thought I'd give a mention to Heat and Dust, just given the pedigree and connections, and you kind of hope that looking back at some of the old form, at least the Kempton run last about a year ago would be encouraging. And
they put blinkers on the first time today, which might have a positive effect. Artisan Blur, you ought to mention as well, did win a couple of times in the spring. He wasn't. He was below par the next time, and he's been off for 5 months, but if she's fresh and well again, in the form she was in March and April, she wouldn't be out of it.
OK, not too many more left to come forward. There is Henley George just going in. He's installed 14, so a bit of a task for David Egan to get a handy position, or indeed if he wants to drop in.
He's got Tolstoy's Tail installed 13 as well, which might impede him.
OK, your favourite horse racing out of the handicap? We'll wait for that till later. Last couple coming forward for our final race at Chelmsford. Our thanks to Alan Howes.
Ready, and they're off. Racing away for the concluding race tonight. 1.25 miles for the Chelmsford CityRacecourse.com handicap stakes. And ridden away from the start, Tolstoy's Tail has moved into the early lead under Aled Beach as they come towards the winning line for the first time. Shown by about 2 lengths over Heat and Dust in second and Flower of Thunder racing in third. And the pace is pretty strong as they went by us. Agent of Fortune is positioned in fourth at the bend. Then Meisterzinger, followed by Miracle. Then Henley George and Mystic Dragon to the inside of Henley George. Piranha Drama is next. As they head out into the back straight, is racing in company there with Henley Park. And behind Henley Park there with the white cap is Artisan Blur. Behind Artisan Blur, Athos making a bit of headway as they went into the back straight. As they head down the far side, the back marker is Memory Hill. Out in front then is Tolstoy's Tail, leading a length and a half to the filly Heat and Dust in second. Flower of Thunder is in third. Then Agent of Fortune, followed next then by Miracle. Behind Miracle is Meisterzinger and Mystic Dragon, Piranha Drama. Behind Piranha Drama then the yellow and blue of Pop Your Collar, racing there in midfield at the moment. Together at the back of the field with the a little bit wider on the track Spanish Hustle, the black and red silks, and then Artisan Blur. They're about to make the journey out of the far side now. Tolstoy's Tail goes along in front and shows by length over Heat and Dust in second. Meisterzinger is next. On the outside is Spanish Hustle. Behind Spanish Hustle then is Agent of Fortune. Then Piranha Drama. Henley George getting closer. Tolstoy's Tail now gives way and Heat and Dust will lead them back in. Chased hard by Flower of Thunder, Agent of Fortune and Meisterzinger. Then Henley George and Mystic Dragon, followed by Piranha Drama, and they're just outside the final furlong. Heat and Dust been joined by Flower of Thunder. Between horses, Agent of Fortune, then Meisterzinger and Henley George even deeper still. Meisterzinger now got to the front. Battling away to the inside is Agent of Fortune. It's Meisterzinger's race though. Meisterzinger from Agent of Fortune, Flower of Thunder. The rushing home Athos and Henley George, Heat and Dust, Mystic Dragon and Piranha Drama.
It's Meisterzinger in the finale at Chelmsford in the cheek pieces, ridden by Charlie Bennett for Mark Usher. Agent of Fortune just in second, Flower of Thunder third. Running on was Athers for the Jane Chapel Hyam team ahead of Henley George, who was a bit free through the early part of the race. Meisterzinger, Steve, I guess another one that you wouldn't have really predicted that tonight would have been the night, as the price suggested. Exo Mark Prescott, now with Mark Usher.
First race for Mark Usher, so, you know, plaudits to him. Cheek piece for the first time, first run for a new yard. Hadn't shown that much really for Mark Prescott, but he's got the job done today and won it decisively.
I know you'd be quite excited to talk about the start of the race.
I'm just pleased that for the owners they got a cheer. I think in the end he did come last again. I think his mark of 10 is still safe.
Aled Beach out the stalls early on. At least they put some pace to the race, but what did happen after that, Steve, was that things slowed down, and I think quite a few horses were a little bit keen.
Didn't do Henley George any favours.
No,
maybe because it's his first run for 4 months or whatever, or 3 months. He was a bit keen, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think where Athers come from.
He's just behind Henley George,
just
two
behind him,
Henley George at the moment.
Yeah, cause he hadn't shown. He had blinker for the first time. Pretty ordinary. The first few runs for. Well, his first run today for Jane Chapel Hyam used to be with Roger Varian. Second run for Jane Chapel Hyam, I beg your pardon.
So at this point, this is where they just start stacking up. You'll see going round the first bend, there seemed to be at least a bit of pace after Tolstoy's Tail kicked on from the gates. But then here you'll see in second spot, you'll note Luke Morrison, Heat and Dust is perhaps wanting to go a bit faster. Agent of Fortune, similarly.
Spanish Hustle on the outside, who's pulling very hard as well.
And David Egan at pains to try and hold on to Henley George, and others are also racing a little bit keenly at this point. And in the end, you'd have to say that Athers has done pretty well to run on from there.
He has, and the winner has actually, whilst all the horses were tugging and reefing, he was actually very settled. Even in the first time cheapest, he's travelled nicely in behind them, hasn't used up any excess energy, and he's just about to reproduce now. But I think Henley George run okay, given the energy he's used up, and Athers, as you say, has done well to come from where he did. And this is at least a step in the right direction for him.
Yeah, at this point, Meisterzinger now draws alongside Flower of Thunder. Flower of Thunder does stick on.
Yep.
Slightly disappointed by Heat and Dust down on the inside?
A little bit, I guess, yeah. I guess it wasn't, yeah, he didn't produce too much. That's a present to Mark Prescott horse. It's a bunch-hole finish. Again, it's not a... I don't think it's strong form by any means. But it was a step in the right direction for the winner. And there is bits of encouragement in behind from one or two horses who haven't let themselves run to their best.
Yeah, Meisterzinger, 33-1, the second and third, 130 co-favourites. You see what Steve is saying about Henley George, considering how much energy expended through the early part of the race. Did well to finish as close as he did. Athers is running on the outside. That was a pretty decent effort. Coming widest of all as well. Any eye catches for you, Nick?
Cheers, Rishi. Unexpected, but that's been the nature of some of the handicaps tonight. We've had horses who lesser known or yard switching. In the case of the Sean Lycett winner of the last race, and obviously also the one that Alicia Whittington rode earlier on as well, handicap debutant in the form of this one, picked up 6,000 out of Sir Mark Prescott's yard, dropped to a mark of 59, hadn't obviously been showing an awful lot in midsummer, with a few questions to answer. Well, has answered them, and you'd go with Steve's notion that this probably isn't the most bankable form going. But that said, Agent of Fortune has run another creditable race here over the 10 furlongs, continues to ply the trade well, despite not winning since the early months of last year, and despite the fact that she hasn't won over 10 furlongs, it's not because she can't. And I suppose you'd race her around her, so they'll be absolutely delighted with a rather small buy of £6,000. Not insignificant, of course, but picked up a horse who's hit the ground running for them.